Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Roll20 Presents Waterdeep Dragon Hoist. I forget what episode this is. 5? I didn't look.
This is episode
before.
5.
Yes, I did it. I did it without thinking. I am your dungeon master, Floon Coble. I'm joined, of course, by
it's weird.
8, who's also a Floon. Random Floon's Day. I'll fix it. I blame Dave's new green screen on that. Dave, your background is looking particularly invisible. You've joined Elf in the shadowy realm of shadows.
I don't normally have it up in case I
In the void.
Yeah. You've joined Elf in the shadowy void of shadows.
Yeah.
So welcome, and hello, everybody. So I would like to just begin our little pre-show warm up by saying, "Curse you, Wizards of the Coast! Curse you and your addictive card games."
Yep.
I'll see you in hell, Richard Garfield. So I started playing Magic the Gathering Arena recently. Now, if you know me, if you are a person who has followed my content, you may have heard me talk before about I used to have a problem. I had a monkey on my back, and that monkey's name was Mana. I played a lot of Magic the Gathering like 15 years ago, and then I stopped. I packed up my Magic cards. I sold them. I put the decks in storage. I seem to have fallen off the Magic wagon again, and man, it's great. I love it. I'm just right back into it.
Just indulge, just bathe in it.
It's so fun. It's a really well-designed card game, turns out.
Well, not only is it a really well-designed card game, Adam, but they've done lots of virtual, like, Magic online things before. And this is the first one that doesn't feel like an archaic shit.
Thank you. Yeah, like MTGO was not fun. And I like no other digital iteration of the game has ever been interesting to me, but I played this and I was like, oh, it's like Hearthstone, but like better.
But like Magic.
Because it's Magic. And I know how to play this, and I'm caught up. I figured out all the rules. I know what a Planeswalker does now, which I didn't know. There's a lot of stuff that's different from when Magic was out in the year 2004.
When you were but a young Magic wielder.
That's right, a young sorcerer. So yeah, I've been playing that. It honestly feels like the return of all of the shit that I loved when I was a kid, right? I've been playing like very traditional CRPGs a lot of that. I'm playing Magic again. People care about Dungeons and Dragons. It's a whole thing. It's like, I'm glad I never stopped liking the things I liked when I was 15.
Played the same part of Pathfinder Kingmaker over again that I played already.
Yeah.
So
did you do that on stream?
I did. Yeah. Wow. I got to a point where I was like, I feel like I did all the management of the barony wrong. Like, I feel like every choice I made was terrible, and I feel like I didn't go back and check far enough, or I didn't do enough missions or whatever. And then I went, well, I could just start over. So I did.
How do we feel as players of games? How do we feel about that as a thing? Games that you can make the wrong decision, get to a point and be like, oh, I can't win. I'm thinking XCOM, Banner Saga.
I hate it.
Here's the deal. I love it, but only when it is presented in such a way that I understand the decisions that I am making, and that the information is present for me to make or not make those decisions as I wish to risk.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, I play a shit ton of XCOM. You made that as one of the examples. And the whole fun of that is like, well, fucked up, start over. Pretty much. Yeah. And I don't necessarily like it for this game. I think the Pathfinder Kingmaker is a fantastic video game. And its one flaw is that it doesn't tell you anything at all about anything.
And that's the trick, isn't it? Yeah. So Blue Jay, you're not a fan of the you've gotten this far, you put 20 hours into this game, because I know you had this problem. That's why Banner Saga was the other thing that I brought up. You got there and then it's like, nope.
My thing is it's like, yes, there's a bit of the you don't necessarily get broadcast the consequences of your actions, and I think that can be used with intention. But I feel like if I put 20 hours in a game and then I have to go back to square one or two because I fucked up and I don't and it wasn't just like a plot fuck up, it was a like mechanics fuck
Yeah,
up.
I think there's two.
just
Yeah,
not
there's
gonna
two
play the
different. There's two different things there for sure. I remember the first time that I played Dark Souls, and I got to a point where I was like, "Oh, I have made some incredibly huge mistakes in the way I have built my character. I'm gonna go back to the beginning and build a character that's more to my play style." And that felt like it was on me, not the game, and I felt okay about that. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But
but isn't it the game's job to teach you how to build a character?
Well, it was more that I didn't.
Game.
It was more that I didn't understand. I didn't understand the choices that I was making because I hadn't played before. And I agree. I think that like that's the question, right? Is fluency, because there is that thing where you like, how much of a game should you be allowed to like mess about? And this reminds me of the Adventurers League stuff that we did. I loved how up until 5th level, you could just change your character. You could just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm not having fun playing a fighter. I'm going to just be a paladin. Same character. I'm just going to change him. And that's my new guy. And that is, I like that. I like that like level of sort of allowance for learning your fluency with a game.
See, I think it also goes into expectation, right? Like a game expectation for whether or not it's going to teach you anything. I go into Dark Souls the first time and I'm like, well, it's not going to tell me anything. The whole point of this is that I'm going to die a shit ton of times. Whereas I go into Pathfinder Kingmaker being like, there should be a tutorial for what the hell I'm doing right now.
Okay, but there's a difference in I'm going to die a ton of times and I'm going to have to go back and start this entire fucking game over.
And that's
there is a difference.
I would also
argue
that in the case of Dark Souls, you're still learning from the fact that you died.
Yeah.
Like if you don't learn anything from what happened, then the game isn't teaching you. Like I also take the perspective, like Blue Jay, that a game is responsible for teaching you how to play the game.
And if it doesn't teach
people to enjoy it, you need to teach them how to do it.
I'm having some confusion about this. You're supposed to die in Dark Souls?
Get out of here, Dave.
Listen, Dave, I don't fucking die in Dark Souls now either. But
Dave _the_elitist.
What the fuck you want from me?
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
so funny, Dave. So funny.
It's important, and the distinction I was going to make was whether or not the things that you had to repeat were plot elements in a story. Yeah, I think the distinction was made. I think you mentioned it.
Mechanical repetition versus plot repetition.
Yeah.
Because, well, like there's a path where like you get the bad ending. And that's fine. Like it happens. You repeat, like you choose, you make choices and you get the bad ending, and that's a way for the story to end, and that's fine. Like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with getting the bad ending.
Yes, agreed.
But
me too.
if I make mechanical choices to the point where like I am literally bashing my head against the wall because I multi-classed in a way I shouldn't have multi-classed, and I cannot defeat this boss.
Like, right. Exactly. That inability to go backwards, to say
that's what I don't like.
But here's the thing, right? Like I restarted because I could see on the horizon a series of things that was going to happen to me. It didn't happen because like I didn't play that far.
Yeah.
But I saw on the horizon a series of things that was going to happen to me because I had a bunch of shitty little towns that weren't generating enough build points, that I couldn't put into quests, that I couldn't do, all this other stuff.
Well, and that's
eventually when I got to chapter 4 or whatever, and some asshole invaded, because of course they're gonna.
Yeah.
I was dead as hell. And
right.
and it wasn't plot.
That's definitely the XCOM thing, where you can be like, oh, if I had made a different decision 4 turns ago, I could pull myself out of this, but I might as well just stop, because in 3 or 4 turns I'm doomed. Like I won't be able to win. Yeah, it's tough when that's paired up with like a different, more narrative style of play. And to your point, Blue Jay, I think it's pretty different when you're playing a game like the thing that I had a problem with Banner Saga 1 that got fixed in 2 and 3 was that there are times when, and this happens in every like tree-based decision like dialogue thing, where you're like, the game gives you a sort of general idea of what you're going to say, and it's like, say, like, rebuke him, turn him away, give an unresponsive answer. And when you go rebuke, it's like, cool, you attack him with your sword. And I'm like, I did not want to do that. That is not like, there's a really like clear one of those in one of the Witcher games where the option is like, tell him to leave, and then Geralt's like, fuck you, die. And you're like, whoa. whoa, overreaction there. So yeah, it's interesting. Like and again, I always come back to, this is what I love about tabletop games, is that if you try something and it fails, you can try other things instead. You can come at them a different way.
Yeah.
Right. Where you're like, cool, I tell him to leave me alone. And then I'm like, oh, the NPC, yeah, he gets really angry and annoyed. And you can be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Like, we can still be friends. Let's work this out. But in a computer RPG, you don't, it's just like onward. There isn't usually
it's the best.
Which
I
is
think Fallout 4 was the worst, to the point where people just made mods that actually just said what the character says.
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. I really enjoy an RPG where it says in the dialogue what my character is literally going to say word for word.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be very trying in a tabletop RPG where you're like, I say this to him, and I'm like, no, you don't. You said this instead.
Yeah.
Then he kills you with a sword. And you're like, but I was trying to say.
I would like to tell him gently no.
Yeah.
So you draw your dagger? No, you
didn't
draw
say
your dagger.
Yeah, I see you drawing your dagger. Okay, that's how I want. But to be fair, some people like have played with GMs like that, where they're just like, I'm gonna tell you what happens instead of you describing your character. That's bad. People at home, if your dungeon master is like that, if they're one of those, tell them Adam said stop it, and then tell them they can tweet at me, and I'll tell them why. But yeah, it's tough. It's one of those things, and this has always been true since the days of yore, since the days of Eye of the Beholder. Like, you know, tabletop RPGs are doing one very specific, cool thing that is near impossible to emulate with any other technology, and that's what's so fun about it. I think.
Definitely.
You're like, this is like, this has things in common with the tabletop RPGs I play, but
it's kind of interesting in a way. And here's just like my perspective on the PC versus tabletop thing going on, is that in the computer game, I just load a quick save and then I do it again, and I load a quick save and I do it again. If I die in tabletop, it's over. It's over.
It's true. Yeah, there's got to be an RPG somewhere where every time you change your character, you just write out a whole new character sheet, and then you can go back to an earlier character sheet. Somebody thought that would be a thing, and they definitely, I'm sure they designed it or hacked a version of D&D that does
if
that.
8 dies, you best believe I'm getting the Infinity Stones out, and we're doing it again. And I'm rolling the dice again.
And
I just thought you'd come back as like 7.
Yeah, right. 9.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Just work our way down the line.
I heard and I might have shared this during Tomb. I heard an apocryphal story somebody posted on Twitter about they were like teaching their nephew or something to play Dungeons and Dragons, and their nephew made a character and they died to some bad rolls, and there was a moment where the person doing the teaching was like, oh, are they gonna cry? Like, are they gonna get upset? This was a little kid. They're like, are they gonna get upset? So the kid just was like, oh, my character's dead, grabbed a pen, wrote Junior after their character's name, looked at the GM, was like, I'm here to avenge my father's death. And I was just like, yep, you got it. That's how you played. Yep, that's it. This kid knows what's up.
That's amazing.
Like, that's how Gary and Dave and them did it back in the day, right? It was, you'd just be like, my character died. Cool. Well, I'm my character's cousin. And some characters never even had their own names. It was just like Dave's cousin. So it's...
I think I actually did that in Chaos of Chaos.
Yeah, I think
When
so.
I was a little baby role player. No, I thought it was original.
Yeah, Rolf. Yeah, Rolf. I think you went through several iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like there is a bit of that you can do depending on the game. But honestly, like in a tabletop RPG, when my character dies, usually I'm like, well, that's a bummer, but guess what I get to do? Brand new character.
Yeah.
And that's fun. So yeah, cool. I don't know how we got started on this, but I've just been thinking about choice.
We did it.
Games.
We got there.
We did it. Lauren, your hair looks awesome. By the way, yeah, looking good. I just noticed. I've been doing all the promo stuff, and I looked over. I was like, hey, you look different and great.
I have new hair. I took it from somewhere.
That's a good way to do it.
Opens up the character customization screen.
I'm a new character. Didn't you know?
Right. This is Lauren's cousin.
It's Lauren's cousin.
Shit.
New haircut. That's how you can tell.
Oh, I didn't even know, man. Well, so that's the great thing. Like, there's definitely a branch of sci-fi where that's just a normal thing that people can do, right? Like Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom, or like Altered Carbon, where you're like, well, I'm dead. I guess I'll just throw my consciousness into another body and we're good to go. Yep, man, I'd like one of those. That'd be awesome. Alt character skins.
You're telling me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Choir, consider yourself preached to. Yeah. Well, let's get into the thing, because I think
Hoisting?
before we begin.
What are we hoisting?
That's right. Friday only here in Waterdeep. It's the semi-weekly Waterdeep Dragon Hoist. It's time to hoist that dragon. So today on Waterdeep Dragon Hoist, we're going to hoist let's hoist a gold dragon. We haven't hoisted any good guy dragons yet. So a gold dragon has donated itself to the cause today, and now demands to be hoisted. So gold, as we all know, is quite heavy. So let's get ready to hoist that dragon. Dave, that roll doesn't count because I didn't give you the DC yet. That's a warm-up.
When you went into the prep thing, you're like, all right, everybody, let's do.
I know. I saw you hit that button. That doesn't count. That's just 8 flexing his muscles. All right, let's say it's an athletics check. We're gonna hoist that dragon today on Dragon Hoist. Is gonna be a DC 15 to hoist the gold dragon.
Fail.
Now, Adam, here's the question.
Oh my god! No, Jules Barley out.
Wow!
I am so strong.
Oh,
So strong.
oh boy, Dave and Lauren both knocked out by an 8. So surprisingly, we've got a critical success from Makaria, and Rin, a 16, just barely able to hoist that dragon. Congratulations to the two of you. I'm not keeping track of how many hoistings were successful or not, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, I have succeeded on 3 of them. I'm keeping track.
Nice,
For
good.
myself.
Good. It's that kind of
I
game.
on 2. I'm not sure.
I think this may be the first one I've succeeded.
But I just got so strong just for this moment.
I was gonna
Merkel
ask
help me out, man.
if I could get an assistance from my unseen servant on hoisting.
I don't think the dispel description says that it can help hoist. I don't think it's a hoist helper.
Well, it's like a menial task, right?
There is nothing menial about hoisting dragons.
They also have like a strength score of 2.
Yeah, they're not very
Well,
helpful.
no, but what's great about this is even with a strength score of 1, it doesn't matter. You can give advantage.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Yeah.
Even if it's just going like, yeah.
Anyway, my strength mod is -1, so.
Yeah, Makaria with that drunk strength, like just hurl that dragon over your shoulder.
It's because I was so mad at the dragon that I really needed to hoist it.
Well, it's the first good guy dragon, so of
it
course
was
you have to
anger.
throw it directly into the sun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. This was a Team Rocket situation. That gold dragon just vanished. Though, and this is just Jeremy Crawford's Twitter approved.
Crawford.
A fire immune dragon can indeed walk around on the surface of the sun.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, that is official.
Wow.
The sun is made of fire, and creatures that are immune to fire can
The sun's
walk
not made of
around on the
fire.
surface of the sun. Listen,
Question.
he specifically said nuclear fire from the sun is still fire. So
Question.
it would immediately die from the void of space, but whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, right. It's all the other stuff would kill you, but
The fire would not.
But the fire.
but the sun does fire damage. So yeah.
The sun in this game, as we found out,
fire.
super fucking weird. Made
Yeah.
of fire.
It's also got a solid surface.
Listen,
Evidently.
listen, okay? You cannot argue. I don't like anyone in chat or arguing in the comments that it doesn't count. You have to abide by the 4 holy texts of Dungeons and Dragons.
Here we go.
The Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster Manual, and Jeremy Crawford's Twitter account. That's the 4th core book. And it says right in there, the sun is made of fire. Okay.
What's amazing about this particular statement is the exact opposite that we have been doing for most of our whole career of this.
The sun is made of fire. All right. And that's how it is.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah. You can look it up on the Forgotten Realms wiki. The sun in the Forgotten Realms is a ball of fire. It says right there.
It does.
Yeah, giant ball of fire. We still don't know where it comes up, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Cool.
Well, let's hope that this adventure, that'd be a weird turn. Like today on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, you have to go to the surface of the sun and retrieve, I don't
dragon,
know. Yeah.
evidently.
Fazul Chamberlain's
that we-
mustache.
That gold dragon that we threw.
Yeah, right, exactly. That gold dragon you
It was
hurled.
a very important dragon. I don't know.
Yeah.
But right now we have to go retrieve a monk or something.
Maybe,
Yeah, we gotta go up a
yeah.
mountain.
So you're still in and amidst the streets of Waterdeep. You have just been introduced to the Blackstaff, and she kind of tenuously offered a potential alliance between the Grey Hands, her organization, kind of her adventurers association, and you, but it was less. It's less like aggressive or less friendly than some of the other invitations you've received. Right? There are chances to work with the Lord's Alliance, which I believe everybody just kind of like poo-pooed right away.
Screw the Lord's Alliance.
The Zentarum,
who we
who
were headed back to report into.
yeah, and that was my question, was whether you're going to go back and report, because you did go and try and do the thing. There was a whole scene with Makaria, and she was bait, and there was guns, and then
We got his name, right?
he
We
slipped
know
away.
what group he's from, at least.
From the Brigand Darth or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Bregan Diarth.
The Bregan, I believe it's pronounced the
Dare.
Bregan Darth.
It's Brigand Dorth.
I'm gonna look. I'm looking it up. That's why we have pronunciation.
It's Broken
checks.
Dorks, of course.
The
It's
broken.
the Broken Dorks.
The Broken
Okay. So yeah, we gotta go tell this guy that the Broken Dorks are trying to murder people.
So mean. So
Obviously.
mean to these poor creatures.
Also, he's really cute, so we should do that for sure.
The pronunciation guide, according to the adventure, says
Broken
Darth?
it's the Bregan Darth. Bregan.
All right. well, I was
Reagan
wrong, too.
Dare.
Bregan rhymes with Reagan. So-
Reagan's.
Yes, Ronald the Brick.
yeah, Ronald Bregan. He's the leader of the Bregan Darth, an ancient sorcerer. I'm gonna write down Ronald Bregan. I'm gonna use that later. Listen, if you haven't read the entirety of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, you do not know the depth to which this adventure sinks vis-a-vis silly names for NPCs. You just wait. There's
I
some.
mean, we have Floon Blackmar already.
Floon merely scratches the surface of what is available here. So yeah. So Vajra Safar is the woman you spoke to last time. You've just left Blackstaff Tower, and you are out in the streets of Waterdeep, and you went here as a delay to your other plan because you were invited by magic. So I think it's like getting to be like later in the day now, and if you want to, you can head to the tavern.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah.
How did I know that was going to be your approach?
I mean, it's a tavern, not just a drinking establishment.
You know, me and Durnan are really close, okay? We're not friends, but we're getting there, all right?
You stand near each other a lot.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
harass each other with, well, I was going to say with love, but I don't love anybody. We harass each other.
Mhm.
Yes, I've noticed.
I'm fond of it. All right, let's go.
Okay. Yes. Fine. We'll talk to our friend. What was his name?
I think he thinks that I'm
Darth.
joking when I say I'm going to kill him, but I'm not.
Are you?
You couldn't.
Are you
Someday.
talking about Durnan? Because I'd love to see that.
Someday.
No, he would.
You're gonna
he
come
would
back.
Crush you.
Well, right now, he would crush me, but soon, my Lord Merkel will grant me the strength to defeat him. I believe.
Very unlikely.
Let's just go and
All right.
drink.
Sure, that sounds great.
All right.
Fine. Yes, of course. Yes.
So leaving Blackstaff Tower behind you, you head east out into the city, and then find your way to the Waterdeep equivalent of Cheers, the Yawning Portal.
Where everybody.
No, please.
Yep. All right. So So you head into the Yawning Portal.
I'm just imagining this place, but in the quality of TV program that is Cheers.
Yep. Durnan's polishing the bar. You come in.
Everybody,
He looks up and
opening plays. Everybody turns around.
Yeah, right. Durnan just looks off into the middle distance and smiles while like as Durnan pops up underneath him. And oh yeah. Late 70s, early 80s sitcom about a bar. I'm into it.
Durnan as
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Durnan as himself. Yeah, featuring
as
special
Durnan.
guest. Awesome. All right, so so you enter the Yawning Portal, and it is well in swing. Everybody is eating and drinking. It looks like a band of adventurers has returned from the portal, and they're throwing their money about and buying drinks for people, and they seem.
Oh, they're buying drinks for people?
Pleased. They're buying drinks for people they know and like.
Makaria could become one of those people.
I'm really bad at that. My charisma's 10.
You're really bad at what? Making friends, becoming friends.
I'm
with
bad
people?
at everything, honestly.
Sorry, was that a bad charisma of 10?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. You have a charisma of what, 4?
4.
Yeah. All you really
I
need is
think
everybody
I
else
think
to
I
be less
see
charismatic.
Mr. Starsong again, I think was his name.
Davil?
Yeah, Davil. Yeah.
He's too handsome. I can't. I go to get a drink.
Okay.
I think you have that conversation when you walk in, right? Like, Ren's like, I'm gonna go see Davil, and Makari's like, I can't handle it. And then you
I
just
can't do that. I have to be not sober. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll do the business side of things.
Okay.
And I'll do the pleasure side of things. I mean, no, what?
So 8 and Jewel, what are you gonna do? These two walk in and they separate. Rin, you're gonna go look for Davil.
I am, yes.
Okay. Makaria goes to the bar. Durnan rolls his eyes.
Oh,
Durnan will be played by the guy that played Ron Swanson. What's that actor's name?
Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick
Durnan is
Offerman.
totally Nick Offerman.
Durnan
I've
is
met
like,
him. I've
with
met
the
him in real
mustache.
life.
Yeah, and with like a bad Scottish accent, like as bad as mine. Yeah. Yeah, into it. 8 and Jewel, what are you doing?
I think Jewel will go with Rin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Seems
also
most
have
interesting.
questions for this star song.
Cool. I prefer being alone. It's fine.
You're not alone. There's drinks.
All right.
That's true. My best friends.
Okay. All right. So I'll pop up the art for old Davil here. There he is. So handsome.
Now look at him. He's so handsome.
Such a handsome boy. And yeah, I think you find him. He's at a table with some of his associates, and they're having a conversation as you walk up.
So I'll sort of like stand on the periphery of this conversation until Davil notices that I'm there, trying to not like barge in on whatever is currently going on at their table, because this is a Zentarum thing probably, and I don't really want to get in between that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just like stand off to the side and wait until Davil is like free or makes eye contact with me.
Okay. Yeah. So he sees you, and he says to his companions, he says, "Ah, no, they are now. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen." And he stands up because he's a polite guy. He's not going to make all his friends leave the table they're all sitting at. He stands up and he turns to you and he gives you a bow, and he says, "Rin, Jewel, 8, where's your cleric friend?"
She's already headed off to the bar.
Someone has her priorities in order.
Well, she knows that we'll handle this just fine.
Yeah, and he looks past you to the bar where he sees Makaria. What do we see Makaria doing?
She's harassing Durnan to try and get free drinks.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Durnan's ignoring you. So yeah, Davil turns back, and he says, "So, what have you found out for me?"
Well, we couldn't apprehend your murderer, or maybe several murderers, considering what we learned. But we do know who they are.
Is that so?
Have you heard of an organization called the Bregan Darth, or Darth?
He nods. Dark elves.
The one we tangled with had some sort of well, it was potent weaponry to say the least. Some sort of firearm.
It wasn't that he was too powerful. He ran away like a coward.
Well, you know what they say about running away and living to fight again. I've never been in the position myself, but
I'm not aware. Could you please elucidate on the saying that they have?
We'll trade idioms later, Aid. So this turns back to Rin. So this, you're sure it was the Brigandarth? You saw this dark elf yourself?
As sure as I could possibly be. Not to mention that we basically got confirmation it was the Brigandarth with a conversation we had with Vajra Safar.
When you say that, he's like, "Oh, really?" And he says, "It shouldn't surprise me you're being courted by the Grey Hands. You seem to be useful operatives. I do hope you'll make the right decision." And he grins, and it's like, it's not meant to be a threat, but he's a little like, and he knows what the correct decision is.
Sure. Yeah. And I sort of give him a nod at that, like, like we'll make the right decision. So is that sort of information sufficient for this task?
Well, if it was the Brigandarth, then you're lucky to be alive. You and your friends.
Yes. We were fortunate, I think.
I'm not the sort of man to think that being alive is gift enough. I gave you a mission and you performed it to the best of your abilities. I didn't know what you were up against, so I'm glad no one was hurt. Not too badly, anyway.
A few cuts and scrapes, nothing major.
Mostly pride.
So this assassin, do you plan to continue hunting for him? Is this a personal vendetta now?
I have nothing personal against him myself. If he's still killing elves, then he's still killing elves. But I was hoping that with you knowing what the organization was, we might be able to sweep more of a net over things, so to speak.
The Brigandarth themselves have nothing against elves in particular. That's a drow proclivity. I wonder, do you have reason to believe that this was an operation of the Brigandarth? And not just some rogue agent operating on their own?
I have nothing substantial to suggest that, no. But we do know he was a member.
This is a matter of Dockward security, and the City Watch are outmatched.
If I might offer,
please.
If it were me in that situation, and there were poorly guarded people I already didn't like, and I had a new weapon like that, I would just want to kill people to test it. Perhaps he was doing this.
Unfortunately, there's nothing new about these guns the Brigandarth have. They're dangerous, specialized equipment, require training, lots of it. Like a longbow, but more complicated, more difficult to master. There's a reason they haven't been distributed any further than that. I don't think that's what this is. Now, the Drow have a long history of animosity with our people, but something's missing. A piece of the puzzle. That's not your responsibility. Thank you, Rin. Please. And he gestures to a table nearby and says, "Please sit."
And so I do.
Okay. And he calls one of the Zentarum. He snaps and gestures, and one of the other Zentarum comes over and he talks quietly to him, and then sends him away. And he says, "As promised, your payment."
Much appreciated.
So, I'm curious. Friendly curiosity. How was this meeting with the Blackstaff?
I hold mages of her position, those with great knowledge that she has, in great esteem. So it was interesting and unexpected.
Did she ask anything of you?
She did, just as you did. Task, something to be done.
Have you been approached by anyone else in this matter?
In this, for this particular task, or do you just mean people trying to offer me work? Because honestly, we're very much looking for work. So I haven't really thought it to be suspicious.
No, of course. Your name's getting around. And he says that as he looks across the room, and we see Volo in mid story. We don't catch what he's talking about, but he's like drawn court to him and is telling somebody a story about, I don't know, sometime he fled from a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And he says, well, that's good. Drumming up business. Little competition never hurt anyone.
Well, not to mention we need the money to repair the manor.
So that's the plan then?
That's my plan, certainly.
Hmm.
What the others are focusing on, well...
Acquiring goods legally requires money.
It's like, yes.
Yeah, he nods. He says, legitimate business is indeed a difficult endeavor. And he flashes you a smile that like finishes the sentence in a way his words don't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's easier than stealing from people. Sometimes.
And then,
why do you ask?
as you're speaking, this other guy comes back with a coin purse that he hands to Davil, and Davil holds out to you.
And I take.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. He says, as promised, payment in full. I'll leave it to you to distribute it among your party. And he's like squinting over at Makaria. Makaria, what are you doing?
I think that if I had been able to get, I probably had to like pay for some like alcohol.
Yes.
Because
yeah, you can't go to a bar and get free drinks.
she tries every time.
Okay.
So like it's only been a little bit of a conversation. She's not like drunk yet, but she's
Sure.
trying. She's trying really hard. And I think that like she's probably very pointedly like sitting with her back to this conversation because like, yeah, it's fine. And probably like, I don't know, like annoying Dernan or other people at the bar. She's just being loud and
Okay.
annoying.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So so you get paid. And Davil says, well, I'm sorry that this turned out to be not quite what we expected, and I hope, for all of our sakes, that you haven't made an enemy of the Bragendareth. But knowing
I would be
them,
surprised if it were the entire organization, like you said. Maybe one disgruntled member.
We'll continue to look into it. If I learn anything that I think will be of use, I'll let you know. Now, there's going to come time when I could use more operatives of your caliber. No offense to my colleagues, but, well, the right tool for the right job. But I'm going to need to know that you're interested, serious about our cause. And you don't have to make any kind of decision now, but think on it. And if you are serious, let me know.
Well, I'm sure we can get back to you. Assuming you're not looking for something right away.
He shakes his head. No, but there's always things to do. Waterdeep's very busy. Now,
No doubt.
if you'll excuse me, and he stands up, And he says, always business to attend to.
Always.
Okay. So yeah, Davil excuses himself, leaving the three of you at a table. Makaria, you see Davil get up and leave an empty chair and walk back to his goons.
Okay. Presumably I've obtained alcohol and I like take it and like throw some like parting shot at Durnan. And then like come back.
Are you paying for this alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you said I couldn't get it for free unless I steal my
I'm just making sure you're using it. So
I pass by the group of adventurers that is paying for people's drinks and I steal a drink from someone and just continue walking. Very obviously, like the point is like I'm daring them to call me out on it.
So they will. Like if you try to just like, do you want to make a sleight of hand check and try to steal from them, or are you just like, I'm gonna just grab this in front of everybody?
Sure. Let's see if I can make a sleight of hand check to see like how obvious it is. But I'm assuming it's fairly obvious because that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious.
Okay. All right. So you reach out to like sneak a glass off the table, and a gauntleted hand closes on your wrist, and you follow the gauntlet up an armored arm to a blue cloaked shoulder to a human face with long kind of wavy blonde hair, and he looks at you like with these like bright brown eyes, like he's startled that crime is a thing that happens, and he holds your wrist and he's like, "Excuse me, that's my drink."
If you do not take your hands off of me, you will die.
Make an intimidation check.
It's not intimidating, it's the truth.
I mean, you're trying to intimidate him. And he does, but not because he's scared. So he takes his hand off you and he's like, "By Torm, you're rude. First you try to steal from me. And now," and like he's speaking loud enough that his friends are hearing the like, "Pay attention, something is going on." And so they all start to like look. And he stands up, and the dude's like almost 2 full feet taller than you. And he just like looks down at you.
Is the
And
drink still there?
on his tabard, there's this big silver gauntlet. And
no.
and he looks down, and yes, the drink is still there. And he says, "I think I am owed an apology."
From whom?
From
And she
you,
reaches
impetuous
again for the
cur. You just just try to grab it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna save your ass on this
No,
one.
it's fine.
Yeah, he takes it, like he grabs it and like holds it away from you. And he says, "Have you no respect, young lady?"
You are handing out free drinks.
"Not to you, we were not." And he like looks you up and down, and are you still wearing your sailor outfit, or have you changed?
No,
Okay.
we went to we were at the house. I would have changed when we were at the house, and we went to the place. Yeah, no, I've changed.
Okay, so you're dressed like a cleric of Kellenborg.
Yeah,
And
and
so
like he
yeah.
says not to you. She puts her
Not
hand on
to
her
you.
chest and she says, "I think I'm owed an apology."
He looks you up and down and he says, "My lady, were not our 2 gods allies in the heavens? I might think to smite you where you stand." And like looks down, you're like,
This guy is so overwrought.
Well, since our 2 gods, as they are allies, perhaps we can start off on a better foot. Let's say with you giving your friend a free drink.
He looks at you and he says, "I look about me from the left to the right, and I see gathered around me my friends, and in their hands drinks. And then there's you little goblin. Drinkless, and drinkless shall you remain."
I don't think so.
By the might of Biff Longsteel.
No, this is Biff's brother, Boff. Come on.
Boff Longsteel. Okay.
So what do you? Yeah. So you're like, and then what? Do you do anything? You're like, "I don't think so," but he's not gonna. He's holding his drink, and it's like 1.5 feet above your head.
He's very tall.
Yeah.
How far away is this table from my party's table?
Like 2 or 3
Where
tables
the dog-
over. You look, Rin, 8, and Jewel. Are you looking? You're watching Makaria like do that. Okay, so you see this
No,
happening.
she doesn't see 8 because 8 is actually standing directly behind her.
Okay,
Wait,
so yeah, so
drag her off.
you step up. Okay, so now Makaria, it's like standing at the bottom of a very deep valley. There's a very tall boy behind you and a very tall boy in front of you, and yeah, so 8, you step forward, and he looks down at you, Makaria, and he says, "Do not think to try to intimidate me with your mechanical servant. I know what is right."
He is no servant of mine. He is a servant of my god.
And the guy looks at you, 8.
I am.
Yes.
Which one? The one that you actually worship, or the pretend one?
And he laughs, and this guy he only has like the full 10, so it's like a full on like it
It's like
seems
the
your
English equivalent of the oh ho ho.
yeah, exactly. It seems your friend is as confused as you are, goblin. Please take yourselves out of my presence. Good day. And he turns a shoulder to you.
Grab someone else's drink at the table.
What you're just gonna be like, and like
He's trying to commit suicide by patron of this tavern.
No, I just want drinks.
make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, cool. It goes even poorer.
All right. So we see you like look at a beer. We see you kind of like and go to reach it, and then we hard cut to this guy dangling you by your lapels over the portal. And so he's just like hanging you over the portal, and he's staring at you, and he's like, and another thing, stealing is wrong. It doesn't matter if it is a beer or a loaf of bread. All theft is theft in the eyes of the gods. So you're just like you're hanging over the thing, and you're just giggling.
Okay, Jewel's kind of an ass, and like while he's doing that.
Yeah.
She wants to try and steal something from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping you would
be
do this
a drink
earlier,
from their
Jewel.
table while they're all distracted.
Yeah, so Makaria is like
She's only gonna,
dangling.
to be clear, steal one, and it is not from Makaria.
Yeah, because you're a jerk.
I am sitting at the table with my notebook open, just writing down what is happening right now, so that later I can compose a quality
21.
So,
You and Devil exchange a look, and he's just like, friends, like, sometimes. Okay, so Jill, what are you stealing? Like,
She's just gonna walk past the table where they're all holding her over the pit, and she's just gonna grab one of their drinks, continue walking, and sit down at their group's table.
Nobody notices
I
you
want
do
to
that.
know if I see that.
No, I don't think
No.
so. Yeah,
No.
you definitely don't. Jewel is way
Yeah.
better at this than you.
She's so much better than me.
So this guy, he's like holding you, and he's like, according to the third scripture of Torm, and he like is just giving you like a lecture, like a religious lecture about justice and protection of civilization, and how even one theft that goes unpunished could be the hole in the great dam that holds back the tides of evil. Do you want to be responsible for the tides of evil? Well, do you, little goblin? And he gives you a shake.
yes.
And he turns around and he throws you on the floor, and he looks over, and you see a smaller. He's wearing pretty much the same outfit, but he's smaller, and it doesn't fit him. And this little guy is like watching, and the big guy turns around and he's like, "Squire, my helmet." And he turns to his friends, and he's like, "I'm leaving. I knew we should have gone to Baldur's Gate." And he turns and he like walks out, and the squire chases after him with the helmet, like, sir, wait, and like scrambles off.
Are his drinks still on the table?
I mean, he's just left completely.
Yes,
You turn,
and I sit
you
down
look,
at his
you get
table.
up. Well, hold on. You get up and you look at his table, and you see his friends. Like there's a wizard and a cleric and like probably a dragonborn sorcerer or something, and they're all looking at you like, how dare you? And then where he was sitting, right, there's his chair. On the table, there's just a ring of condensation where his drink was.
Every time Jewel takes a sip, she's like,
Yeah.
You're back at the table with me, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I look up from the furious note taking that I'm doing, and I look over at you and I go, "Really?
What was that man's name? I ask his compatriots.
I don't know if it was worth it. Hey,
Uh,
Makaria, we got you some drinks.
yeah, they all just laugh at you and ignore you.
Yeah.
They're
Going to
just
kill
like,
all of
yeah,
them.
you got told.
Makaria, like under her, like not even very under her breath, like as she's turning away and going to where there are drinks, is like, I'm going to kill all of them.
Okay, so you come back to the table. So everybody is gathered. You're gathered at your own table now. Yeah, is there talk to be done? Is there planning, or do you all know what you're gonna do next already?
So I think the only thing that I have to say is like we have the payment from our good friend Davil, which of course I'll split between the party for however much it is, Adam.
Yeah, let me look. I can't remember how much he said he would pay you.
100 gold apiece.
No, don't say things that are lies. Torm hates lying too. That's another thing. Don't get him started. Yeah, let me see.
Makaria hates Torm.
Listen, Torm's just out there trying to get by. Okay.
Makaria hates a lot of people.
Look, Moth Longsteel
And
just
gods.
50 gold. Everybody gets 50 gold.
yeah. There, now you have enough to buy literally infinity drinks. Like
No, not infinity drinks.
pretty
But a
much.
lot of drinks.
150 GP drink.
What is this, like the holy like liquor of the gods, like distilled from the heavens flower or something?
Pretty much. Yeah.
50 GP drink, Jesus.
Yep.
8.
What?
Why didn't you stab that fellow? That would have been sanctioned. Surely that would have been sanctioned violence.
Do not start this conversation. You provoked him. You think I wasn't watching? I hold the notebook up and like wave it a bit. I have every word, every single word that was said, down to the exact sentence structure written here. You tried to steal his drink. How would sanctioned murder come up?
Stealing is a strong word. I feel like it was stealing. It was stealing.
Oh,
Honestly.
here, I got you a drink. And she just slides the like 3/4 of the whatever he was drinking across the table.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for you.
So Makaria, you wanna try to drink it? You
Yes.
give it a try? Okay, it's just water. It was just a mug of water.
Torm.
I throw it into the fire.
The 76th decree of Torm saith, drinketh not, lest thy head become clouded with evil, tides of evil. But yes, yeah, it was just water. Throw it. Yeah, it's tough life. It's tough life out
Well,
here.
if you're finished with this, what would I call it? A distraction, then here's your gold. Like, hand out the 50 gold from Davil.
Buying
I
drinks.
think would improve your mood somewhat. And we still have a task to complete for Vajra Safar.
Can we stop by Old Zoblov's before we do the task? Now that I have all
Go to Zoblob's on your own time.
Is it in the direction?
I am displeased with you.
I'm displeased with you.
I was going to push both of you in the pit. Be thankful that I did not do so.
I'm not thankful. That would have been lovely. Thank you.
You can go right now.
The pit's still there.
Anyway, fine. I'll go by myself. And I'm sure it's on the way. We're just going out of the city, right? To like a hill or something.
The hill is in the city.
Oh, it's in the
Yes.
city?
Yeah.
Within
Let's
the
hear. I'll
walls
pop
of the
over to
area.
the map.
I don't remember where the hill was.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's south or north or what have you. But I
It
know it's-
is. It is. If we take a look.
Where's this hill?
It's not a hill. It's a mountain. It's Mount Waterdeep.
It's a hill.
It's it's a mountain. It's right there.
It's a hill.
Right where?
It's at the bottom, down here.
Erie.
Do we
Okay,
have to
so
climb
we're
the
at the yawning portal,
Yep.
and old Zoblobs
Yeah, it's definitely on the way. If you go like this,
is not. Is not.
Yeah,
not
that's some fairly severe triangulation.
very
right?
not on the
Look at
way.
it
very
this
not
way.
on the way.
Why don't we climb the hill mountain, and then on the way back, we will reward ourselves with stealing and
That's not really how I do things.
You can literally see what looks like a feather rustling motion from Rand that they're like, we'll reward ourselves with stealing, and she's like, ugh.
Well, what if the monk wants something? We should. Fine.
You think the monk's gonna want weird purple smoke drug?
Life is eternal torment.
Yes.
Again, the pit's right there.
And you worship it so, I believe. So let's just go.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, it's going to be nighttime. So if you want to do like the night climb of Mount Waterdeep, you are welcome to do
I
so.
saw how you looked at that staff bearer. You worship power too.
I worship power, do I?
Look, do we want to go to sleep and then up the hill?
That is a possibility.
Oh
Yes.
my god, the hill now.
In the
Before
dark?
Makaria tries to
Hey?
provoke you further.
Yes,
It's right there.
it's only a hill.
Mount Waterdeep is a rough, rocky mountain standing some 1,500 feet above sea level to the west of the city of Waterdeep.
Probably shouldn't climb it in the dark.
Beneath the
Yeah, 'cause you
mountain,
can't see.
When
beneath
you
the
said
mountain
Mount
is
Waterdeep, I was just thinking about that one mountain in Montreal that's like
yeah,
just
no, it's a for reals. It's a
Yeah.
for reals mountain. It's 457 meters tall, and underneath it is surprise, surprise, Under Mountain. Go figure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that makes sense.
So if we're going to get rest before we climb this mountain anyway, then surely you would not mind if I separate before returning home. Do you want to come with me, Jewel? To the purple shop. No?
She does. No.
Fine.
That face.
It's not like someone's wandering around the dock ward murdering half-elves or anything. I'll be fine.
Listen,
See you all later. Or
Fine.
not.
Fine. She slinks after you.
I just like I look at 8 and I just go, professionalism, 8. It's what we have that they don't. Like,
Perfect. All right, and I think on that we cut to our first break. Professionalism, kids. Don't forget, it's what makes Waterdeep work. If you want to be a part of the Zentarum, somebody's got to be a professional. Everybody else can be robots and thieves and drunks, but somebody's got to keep it
why
together.
this time did I have to be the sane one? Like, it was so much more enjoyable to be the
It's because I rolled 4 8s. I rolled 4 8s. That's why. You have to
In
be-
every party, somebody's got to be a troll, even if nobody's playing a troll. So we're going to take a short break. Stick around. And when we get back, there will be lots more. Probably this. If this is what you can expect more of. So if you like it, don't go anywhere. We'll be back.